So if you want to be a successful colorist, you've got to get your skin tones absolutely perfect. And that's going to come with hard work, a lot of practice, and the ability to read the scopes correctly. So in this episode, I'm going to show you this video. It's a music video, a Christmas music video, just signed off yesterday. And I'm going to show you how I got my skin tones looking absolutely gorgeous. Now, I've just discovered a new tool as well. This is written by a color scientist and developer called Stefan Ringerschwantner. He runs a site called Mononodes.com, and I've used one of his tools in this episode. It's a brand new tool. It's actually been out for about 3 months, but I've only just discovered it. Now, that is a paid utility, and I'm just pointing it out now because if that's not for you, I'm giving you the opportunity to switch off now and not watch the rest of the episode. If you're still here and you're interested, I'm going to show you exactly how it works and you're going to love it. So this is the actual project that I've been working on. I just want to say thank you to Josh Gudgeon and the team at Get Your Media, and also to Adam, who is otherwise known as Beard Meets Food. He's got 3.5 million subscribers on YouTube, and this is his charity Christmas video that he does every year. And they've let me work on it once again, but they've also let me show it you. First, let me just show you some of the scenes that are in here so you can get an idea of what's going on. So it's a music video. We start off outside, very cold, so this is Adam as an old man, but they wanted a kind of twilight look in it, so we've got these real blues, and then we come in to our more Christmas world. Looking at this, you can see that we've got really nice skin tones. We've got really nice neutral colours going on, nice dense reds. Again, it's another one of Stefan's DCTLs that I've used to get that, and I'll put a link to that in the description. So let's just quickly have a look in Lightbox at what's going on. So at the beginning, yeah, we've got this nice cold vibes going on, and then all our skin tones are nice and clean. Okay, we've got good neutrals, nice deep reds for that sort of Christmassy feeling, nice and colourful, but all our skin tones are looking absolutely great. So how do we do that? But let me show you what's going on with color management first, as I always do. We are in a CST workflow, so we're in non-resolve color management. We're just in our regular DaVinci RGB here, going to our timeline color space of DaVinci Wide Gamut and our output Rec. 79 Gamma 2.4. All documented in many of my videos, but I'll put a link to the most recent one. If you have a look at the one, how I build my node tree, it shows you exactly what I did in that. So if I switch off all the grade, so I've got my input CST here and my output CST here, what I can actually do is show you what it looks like out of the camera. So this is out of the camera, but not log. So I've taken it to Rec. 709, so you can see how much work we had to do. And you can see everything is very warm in here. So we just had to neutralize that a little bit. So let me switch the grade back on. And you can see we've got nice whites, but we've got really nice skin tones in here. So how do I measure my skin tones? And where's the skin tone work going on? The skin tone work, most of it is going on in my initial balance. So how do we measure it? If I go to our vector scope, let's pop this out so we get a nice big scope. All right, so traditionally what you can do is you can click on this icon here, say show skin tone indicator. Let's just pop that on, and then we get this line. And as I've documented many times before, this skin tone line is a fantastic guide for putting your skin tones on. Okay, you put your skin tones on there, they're gonna look great. So how do I know what's actually sitting on that line? Okay, I've got a lot going on here because it's measuring the whole image. So there's a couple of techniques that you can do. So if you click on this little icon here and say display qualifier focus, I'll switch that on, and then choose your qualifier tool. What that does is on the scope, you'll get a little indicator showing you what you're actually pointing at the moment. So you can see there, as I point to his jumper, it points towards the red. As we point to the little plant here, it goes towards green. And as we touch their skin tones, we get a good indication that we're sitting on that skin tone line, okay? But there's quite a broad area, okay? It's not that defined. So another common technique is, let's just take an empty node here. I'm just gonna draw around the skin tone here. And then we put our highlights on, and that isolates it, and we can now see it on the vector scope very easily. Now if I move that around, let's just move it over to Adam's skin, see what that's doing. See, it's a little bit tricky because I don't know where it is. There it is. And again, that is sitting nicely on the skin tone line. If it wasn't, what I could do is leave this on, and I can adjust my offset or my gain, gamma, whatever you're working with, and get that spot on. So then when I come out of highlight mode, I can get rid of the window, and that adjustment on that node has taken effect. So what's going on here? I found this new utility. So you're going to get this from the mononodes.com website, and these are the tools for DaVinci Resolve. So Stefan's got quite a few different DCTLs on here, and there is a discount code in the description. And this one's the one I've used before, Color Shift DCTL. You've seen me do an episode on that. I'll put a link to that in the description as well, but that's how I get that nice rich reds on those jumpers. You've got hue twist, crosstalk, RGB split, and this is the one that I've got excited about. It's the utility DCTL. So this has been out for a few months. I only discovered it a couple of weeks ago when Stefan put something up on Instagram, but I'm glad I did. Okay, so I downloaded this. I've installed it into DaVinci Resolve by putting it into the LUTs folder, and let me show you how it works. So we're in clip mode at the minute. Now, a few of these clips are in groups, but not all of them. Okay, so if you're in group, you'll see that if you click on here, you get group pre-clip, clip, group post-clip, and timeline. Okay, if you're not in a group, all you get is clip and timeline. But timeline is common throughout the whole program. If I switch to timeline mode, it means anything I do in here affects the whole program. All right, so everything is affected. It's not a clip level. First thing you need to do is add a serial node, so Option S. And I'm going to go to my effects here, and I'm going to grab a DCTL. So that's a DaVinci Color Transform Language. And this is how professional colorists and software developers like Stefan can access the tools within DaVinci Resolve and make their own tools for us to use. You're not going to believe how simple this is. The utilities DCTL gives you 3 utilities, as it were. All right, so I'm going to scroll down here. As I said, this just gets installed in the LUTs folder. And down the bottom, so any with the mono are from Mononodes, and at the bottom I've got mono balance, mono clipping, and mono isolator. These are the 3 packs that you get with the utility pack. So you get an isolator, which allows you to isolate particular colors. You get a clipping tool, which shows you when you have clipped your highlights, for example. And you get this thing here called balance. And when I switch that on, we get this sort of overlay on our image. And what it's doing is looking at the skin tone indicator here. Okay, and anything sitting exactly on that line will become yellow. So we can see here straight away that because the face has gone yellow, that it's sitting exactly on that line, which we already know because we've just tested that. Anything green or magenta means that you've shifted away from the line, either towards magenta or towards green. By having this tool on, it is really easy to check your skin tones. And this is the first job I've ever used it on, and it's just so simple to use. So let me go back to clip level. If we go to our balance and exposure here, what I'm going to do, this is why I've copied the timeline, I'm going to go to my offset tool here and just show you what happens when our skin tones are too magenta. It would look like that, okay? Now if I switch the utility off, it doesn't actually look that bad. It looks absolutely fine. It's perfectly acceptable to have your skin tone sitting there if you desire. All right, but if I put it back on, go back to my clip level, and now all I've got to do is just move my offset around until they're both balanced. And what's great with this as well is I'm seeing 2 faces at the same time as well. I'd have to draw 2 windows around 2 separate things. So that's good. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of magenta still going on here. We're talking about shadows here. It's perfectly acceptable to have a bit of magenta come in, or indeed a bit of green, or in fact, you might want your skin tone slightly towards green. That might be how you want to work. But what this is going to give you is consistency. All right, let's have a look at it on another couple of shots. So let's go down to, in fact, yeah, let's go down to this guy here. Again, we can see we've got really good yellow going on here, and I can just leave this on while I go and adjust all my skin tones. So let's just have a look at our offset, just check that we did get it exactly right. So it's going a little bit green there. Let's bring it back. You could work with gamma or gain just to get that exactly right. You could use the color warper, for example, and that is looking really good. So the majority of it is yellow. That's what we want. So I'm going to switch it off and have a look at its skin tone. And it looks great. It looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm very used to looking at a vector scope and knowing which bit is the skin and whether it's sat on the skin line or not. But this tool has just made it really simple. So watch this for a trick. If I go into my light box, okay, what you can actually do, if I leave, oh, sorry, let me just check I've got it on. No, it's off at the moment. Switch it on. I'm going to go to my light box. And if I right click and update all my thumbnails, that utility tool is now on all the clips. So I can check here that our skin tones are good. That one's good. Now this one's a little bit magenta, so I'll have a look at that in a moment. These 2 are good. This one's good. So we've got consistent skin tone throughout the whole program. It's fantastic. So I'm going to come out of Lightbox. Let's address this shot then. Sorry, not that one. This one. Let's come in here. Obviously, you don't want to work in timeline level because then you'll be affecting all your program. I'm going to come back to here. Let's just come to our balance and exposure here and have a look what's going on. So I'm going to play with my offset here. I'd normally be doing this on the panel. There you go. Straight away, I've got that looking much better. So I'm going to switch the utility off. And let's just check it against the previous shot. So this is such a great tool. I can't believe how simple an idea this is. It's people like Stefan who just come up with these ideas, and I don't know, I've been a colorist a long time, and I don't know, this tool would have been fantastic when I was starting out, particularly as well. So what can you do with it? You've got other things in here. So this is obviously our skin tone indicator. Neutrals to green is basically looking at RGB values that are exactly the same, and it will make them go green. Okay, so, I need to switch it on, sorry. So there I can see that this is neutral, okay, so good for measuring blacks and whites. So monochrome, this will actually switch our image into monochrome momentarily. This is great for setting contrast levels and just having a look at what's going on in the image without saturation affecting it. And the exposure heat map shows you exposure. Now I'm very used to using Omniscope, so I do prefer using the Omniscope one to this one. I just haven't got used to this one yet. I've only been using it for a week. So it may well work, I don't know. I've been advised that the best use of this tool is in Rec 709, not in DaVinci Wide Gamut Space. I'm yet to try that out, but at the moment I'm in Rec 709 with this tool, because obviously we're in timeline level, and my CST here is going to 709 before the timeline level. All right, clip is pre-timeline. So for me, what's great about this tool is just the speed at which I can check skin tone and just check consistency across my project. So to power scan a whole project in Lightbox, and I might want all my skin tone slightly green, but as long as it's consistent in the program, that's really what I want. The ability to check more than one face at a time on a frame is fantastic as well, without drawing multiple power windows, and just the speed at which it works is fantastic. And you can make adjustments to how it works as well. So if I go to my skin tone indicator menu here, I can actually adjust the sensitivity that it is expecting it to be sitting on that line, so how accurately it has to be on that line. I've been using this all in default mode this week, because it's the first week that I've used it. Show deviation, so you can actually get rid of the green and magenta as well by varying amounts. So if you only wanted it to show yellow, you didn't want it to show green and magenta when it's off, then you can move this deviation line here. And if I switch on my neutrals to green, you can adjust the sensitivity of this with this slider here, okay? So how much deviation you need between those RGB values. So if you like the look of this utility DCTL, you can download a free trial version from mononodes.com. I'll put the link in the description. And check out this video here where I use another one of Stefan's DCTLs. It's the color shift one. That's how I got these jumpers looking so rich and nice and dense. And I've also got a discount code in there, so if you do decide to buy it, there's a discount code in that link. I'd just like to say thank you to Stefan for coming up with these fantastic ideas for DCTLs and making my life much simpler as a colorist. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next episode.